to the game in the state, Michigan State, UNC. I mean, I guess we don't have to really talk about Mississippi State, do we? Unless Colby has anything cool from on-site that they kind of blew their doors off relatively early.
No, I mean, it wasn't too crazy. I mean, just like right when it started, it was like, holy cow, like I'm here. Like this is cool. But as far as like the environment in the game, it was nothing special. It felt like Michigan State was in control pretty much the entire time. There was a brief, like, some point, like early second half, maybe Mississippi State cut it to like 6, and I was like, all right, maybe here we go again. But Michigan State pulled away. So
never trailed.
Yeah,
it's fun when you win games like that.
It is very fun.
Yeah. The sneaky part too, getting into the next one. I said this to Marissa. I was like, playing a 1 seed sucks because it is what it is. But the sneaky part they don't talk about is how much more it sucks because of the crowd aspect. Where
you're so screwed. You're just a road game.
And MSU travels so well, but it was
like 5 minutes from their campus. It was a full on home game.
I'm sure Colby can speak to that, but it was like, and then for the Purdue game, I was like, oh my God, they're going to blow the roof off of Bankers Life Fieldhouse.
Every Purdue game was loud.
Yeah, it was brutal for Michigan State because they travel well.
No, it's not brutal for them, Grant. They earned that by garbage regular season play and losing.
Right. If you're 10 or 11, you don't have to deal with that because you get a 2 seed that's like, oh, like you play Iowa State in North Carolina, for example, like you're like, oh, like this isn't that bad. We'll have more fans than them.
Like last year when we played Marquette and Columbus.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we had a home game and won. Yeah, that'd be cool. Be better. Regular season would be the only answer to that.
How electric was the Tyson Walker transition 3 in the first half that like started building that lead?
It was sweet. Moment. It was sweet. Obviously, being like journalist, like where everyone's sitting, obviously there's no cheering.
No cheering.
So I'm just sitting there I just sit there and I'm like, I do a pretty good job of it. Like I'm not outwardly doing anything, but I'll just sit there and clench my fist. But when Tyson gets that transition 3, and it was like, I wanted to scream so bad. Everybody, I mean, that whole place it really didn't get that loud, obviously, because the place was mainly Carolina fans, but the Michigan State fans that did show up, you could hear them loud and clear.
I'm picturing, I'll never get this out of my head because of that Creighton thing. I'm picturing Colby standing up going, Walker's Inferno! from the press box.
Yeah, I would be booted out of the arena
no cheering.
Fast.
No cheering, please.
But as far as the environment for Carolina, it was, I mean, obviously you guys like saw on TV, but it was one of the louder sporting events, like at least basketball games I've been to. It was pretty insane.
I read
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Alex. No, you
I was just going to say, because of the crowd, when we were up 12, I did not feel good whatsoever. I'd never felt good in an ounce of that game. I was like, maybe just hang around, but I never felt like I guess some people probably, saw that we were up 12 right away and like, wow, we're going to win by 20. And I was sitting there like, well, how long can we hold on to this? Turned out not very long.
Yeah, I fully expected Carolina to come back, but I didn't expect us to give up a 23-3 run or whatever it was. Like that was pretty stunning. But credit to them, they were really, really good.
Yeah, I didn't feel good, but when they went up 12, Alex, since we were talking about the blueprint of upsets, I was like, oh, this is going to be a game with 2 minutes to go. Like, that's what locked into my head, and I was wrong about that, because I didn't think the comeback was going to be like, they were what? I think it was they were down 8 at one point, and then up 9 by the end of the half. Like, it just totally flipped.
6 to 14?
Yeah, and then it was 20. It was 28
40-31.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would have thought it would have been like
2 more points.
A slim Michigan State leader tied at half, and then. But even with all that being said, you still. I think people forget there was a 2-point game towards the middle of that second half, like getting stages. So, like I remember looking up and being like, "Oh my god, it's a 2-point game! Like this is a whole game." And then they just hit another run, and then.
Believe at the just before the under 8, it was 55-51.
It was,
just
Yeah, I mean, Akins started hitting those. He hit those back-to-back threes there in the second half, and I was like, if Akins keeps it up here in the second half, like they can keep this a game until the end. Even in the beginning, when Mady was playing really well, Mady was playing like that. I was like, well, if he plays like this the whole game, we might be able to do something down low.
No one thought that was going to happen.
He never really got back in the game either.
Right. He sat for the next 15 minutes after.
Right, yeah.
Strange to me.
Yeah, but then like Akins, I guess back to him, like the first half, he felt non-existent, not really moving around the court. And then he hit those 2 threes in the second half. I was like, all right, he's got confidence. Like, if he shoots like this, we're going to be in this game till the end. And it just didn't happen.
We already know what happened. The reason the game was lost is very clear. And we have not mentioned who that was about.
Who?
Number 11 for Michigan State had probably the worst game of his entire career. He played no defense. He ran his mouth the entire game and pissed everybody off. He got blocked 7 times.
He keep getting blocked. I remember that.
He did nothing. He did nothing. And bad news, our backup, well, he got shot. And then the other backup who just moved over to point guard, Trey Holloman, he was horrible. So the point guard position, very bad. And they had a point guard who we didn't even guard. We did not even guard him.
I know, that was electric part of the game, and they kept letting Cadeau shoot. It was like, let him shoot, and he just kept missing. It was
he
great.
Never made one. But, like, it's disappointing that your senior point guard looks like that in a game you need to win.
I want to know. Go ahead, Grant. Sorry.
I was going to say I read a piece from, I think, North Carolina's writer on The Athletic about the inside, the huddle type stuff from North Carolina that he picked up. And it was when you guys had went up 12, I think, like Hubert Davis didn't even talk about basketball. He just started ripping his team, saying like we can't even talk about X's and O's until you join the fight that's going on out there, and like just lit into them, which helped them. But then it got into the X's and O's, and they kept running. He cut out clips of it where they would just pin down a kid from the wing, would come out, then they'd enter it into Bacot, and then basically there was a couple where it's like, AJ, like, what are you doing? AJ would come down to dig on Bacot, leaving Harrison Ingram wide open
4 times.
It's like that's like you just can't help off of him. And then there was the one, and this is where I gotta apologize to Alex too. I saw the flaws of Xavier Booker's defense in this game too.
Oh my god,
where
so
there
bad.
was one play,
it was
one
so
play like,
bad.
One play like in particular, I remember he like ended up somehow behind the dude, and I was like, I don't really know even like how that happens.
At one point, I ended up full Evan, where I was like Aiden Hutchinson watching. Once, like I felt like it wasn't going well, and I was just watching Xavier Booker on defense, and he was lost. He was just completely lost every single time. But he's a freshman, and that happens.
Because there was that action where it kept putting Booker and Hogard in spots where they had to make decisions on defense, and it'd be
disaster.
One where Hogard would come down, Harrison was open, and the one you're talking about, Colby, I think is when the Withers kid 24 like snuck baseline behind Booker's back.
So bad.
And then they threw it to him. And they said in the article, I'd have to go back and watch, the player said, we basically ran that floppy action like 20 times in a row to end the game because like it wouldn't stop working. And to me, it's like there is some coaching of that, but really if you're playing basketball, like I'm sure Ben, Alex, you guys can attest, if a team's running the same exact play over and over again and you can't figure out on the court as players, like as seniors, that's probably just like, hey, can we talk this out, guys? Why do we keep giving up points on this one play? It's pretty wild to do.
Yeah, you kind of figure it out at 2, maybe 3 tries, but just you got to make the adjustment.
Carr and Booker, that happens. They're 18 years old and they haven't played a lot of basketball at this level. So I get that, and that's why Booker has to come in and go out and come in and go out because he can only play offense, which, I mean, if we're going to talk about his offense, it was on display. He looked good again. And I was like, he's got the talent for that. Mm-hmm. But AJ doesn't know how to play defense, and he's played in 7 tournament games, and he's started like 100 basketball games. It's embarrassing. It's an embarrassing performance.
He couldn't figure out how to put on his shorts. He just wasn't with it mentally. Did you see that?
I don't. Yes, we saw it.
I do remember that.
Saw it. And then AJ tweeted out 11 being viral. Like, dude,
it's sad that we got to this.
Curious. to what you guys think, you kind of mentioned it already, Alex. AJ transferring, because I have said recently to people around me, yesterday in class, today to my roommates, or I guess the other day to my roommates, that I thought AJ was going to transfer as well, and I got told I was crazy. They thought there was no way.
It's 100% guarantee. See you later. Gone.
Yeah, I think he can find somewhere to play basketball next year.
Oh, but yeah, someone's going to turn on the Kansas State tape and be like, "Holy shit, this dude's pretty good." And then they're going to get him. I still think he's going to smoke weed every afternoon.
I got it. I don't know. Yeah,
I got it. I know his lane. AJ Hoggard, lead guard at Louisville under Richard Pitino.
That's disgusting.
That would be interesting.
That is disgusting.
That's a spot for the kid.
He's going to have a lot of teams that reach out because they're going to be like, we can fix him.
I'm curious to see that list, that contacted list. I want to see that bad.
They're going to, because he knows he can be good. That's the thing with him.
Yeah,
like it's not like he's not like just some terrible basketball player. He's fully capable of being good.
He's Bo Bowie's replacement.
Mm-hmm. I don't think Chris Collins would deal with that.
I will say one more thing I want to add to that game, if I may. Something I guess I was fortunate, but also unfortunate to be a part of my first time having to go into the locker room after a team loses a game like that is one of the worst things to have to do. It just sucked. I mean, everybody's just sad. It's like, I don't want to put a camera in front of your face and ask you questions right now. Steven Izzo, though, gave some good answers, and it was nice talking to him. I think Steven was actually happy to talk to media and talk about his time, but yeah, I don't know. It made me feel for the players, just with the amount of stuff people say online about them, and then they're sitting there they just Malik was sitting there in the locker room basically saying things to the effect of I see all the things people say about me. At this point, I don't care. I'm just happy I got to spend my time here. And it's well, that's pretty sad. But
I will say on that note, most of the players don't probably deserve the things that are said on Twitter.
Yes, absolutely. That's why seeing that kind of made me be yeah, I don't know if I'll ever really shit talk and be really mean to players ever.
There's one player on the team that, for how much he runs his mouth at others, I think it's acceptable that he takes some blunt from
you could say that, yeah.
He dishes it out.
Yeah,
I don't
know if you guys saw. Somebody asked, I think it was Harrison Ingram after the game. I think it was.
Yeah, he's the one who said that.
He was saying they had a player out there talking trash all game and then did nothing, so that was fun.
Harrison Ingram also ran his mouth the entire game, so.
Yeah. But he backed it up.
That kid, whap. Kid was an absolute strap that game.
Yeah.
Do you know where he transferred from?
Stanford.
Jeff Grant.
I wanted him bad.
You wanted him out of the portal for Butler?
No, for Michigan, because I thought.
Grant, you're a Butler fan first.
Well, I'm both. At that time, I was still Michigan because we were coming off. It wasn't all doom and gloom yet. That was the off season last year.
It would have been a wasted talent.
2 years ago.
Could you imagine if Caleb Love went to Michigan and just wasted his entire season?
Whoa. Let's revisionist history. Could you imagine if they had Terrence Shannon and Caleb Love as the backcourt? They would actually be pretty good.
Plus Dick Mann. Dick Mann would have stayed.
We still have to
Dick Mann, they might have blown up in the tournament, but they would have been very fun.
They would have made the tournament for sure.
Yeah.
They would be like Alabama. They would score a lot and they would give up a lot.
I completely forgot about Terrence Shannon, almost going to Michigan until a couple weeks ago.
Kind of crazy he's just playing, actually.
I was thinking about just how it went. It was just they filed what Michigan tried to do for Jim Harbaugh. Yeah, they got the injunction passed, so he'll have his day in court eventually. But I guess right now he's good. So, also Dickinson, that when I saw it was Gonzaga and that Nemhard kid that was at Creighton that transferred out, I was like, they're gonna pick and roll him to death, and they did absolutely that. So it's
2 different colored shoes. What does this guy think he is?
He wore the dumbest thing into Wisconsin, Alex. That's the least testy thing he's ever done.
I didn't really see much of Dickinson this year, other than the occasional Super Tuesday Kansas basketball game. So I didn't have as much hatred towards him, but still a loser. Still a loser.
You guys got way more flack nationally than they should have. They were like preseason number 1, and they were such a disappointment in their own conference and in the tournament. So people need to.
I said they were bad in January. Just
the
so
cancer of Hunter Dickinson more, because that was awesome to feel validated that he went there and did not live up to anything that they had promised.
So, I fell asleep during that game, woke up, and Gonzaga was up 25. And I fell asleep when it was tied. And I was like, wow, what happened?
Grant, I think you were the one that introduced me to this theory. I think it's like Bill Simmons, Patrick Ewing theory, and you kind of brought that up about Hunter Dickinson, if I'm not mistaken, a long time ago.
It didn't work for Michigan.
Yeah, it didn't work for Michigan, unfortunately. But that made me think of that. Like, I thought about that a couple of weeks ago about Hunter Dickinson leaving, and Michigan ended up not being good. But
sometimes it can work for stretches where if your best player goes down, everyone else steps up and they like find something for a little bit. It did not work for the Michigan Wolverines this season.
You said that
this year about that, but obviously did not work.
I actually thought Michigan was going to be like a 6th seed in the Big Ten this year. I thought like with Nkamhoua, they'd actually be pretty good. But obviously a lot of other things happened, including a point guard getting suspended for half the year, home and away games. So stuff happens.
He's arguably a front runner, just like AJ.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can win with that guy.
I'm going to be old man yells at clouds, and I hate that I'm turning this, but I like emotionless point guards that just like do their job. Like Aaron Craft. Like just give me an Aaron Craft that's just going to like put his head down and do what he needs to do. It doesn't like have to scream and be super demonstrative every time they do something well. That's where I'm at.
I think Michigan State just got that. Michigan State has that.
And you
now.
have to shoot the 3 as a point guard, respectively.
Assuming. Yeah.
I don't know if I had anything else. I didn't tell you guys because it would have been bad vibes, but I had 4 bets during that game. I had Tyson to score 18 points, which hit, so I was happy about that. I had UNC to win. It was -3.5 was the spread. And then I took Ingram to have 10 rebounds and Bacot to have 11 because I was looking through their game logs and they have like all their rebounds. They didn't rebound that well, actually, so those did not hit, but I hit the first 2.
That was stunning.
Yeah, and crazy that if you had said that before the game, you thought, wow, Michigan State might have won this game. But
executed the game plan offensively.
Not only just the rebounds, too, but also I think at halftime, we were winning the turnover battle by, like, it was like 11-5 or 12-5 or something like that.
No. That's not true, Colby.
I'm pretty sure it is.
We turned the ball over a lot in that game.
In the first, I'm saying at the end of the first half. At the end of the first half.
I think in their 23-3 run, we turned it over like 7 times.
All right. Well,
don't quote me on it.
I'm going to find the.
I feel pretty good that we lost the turnover.
He's going to go pull up the. He's got the backpack. He's going to pull up the stat sheets. Also, Colby, for those that haven't seen it, those media centers, they waste so much paper with the amount of things they print off and hand to people.
Oh, absolutely.
It's actually crazy.
Absolutely.
It's crazy. In the year 2024, when we all have like great Wi-Fi on our laptops, although sometimes stadium Wi-Fi can be terrible, so I do get that. But the old school paper will always be there.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, wasted a ton of paper. Also, that was another really annoying thing is down in like the arena floor level, Wi-Fi worked perfectly fine. Could do everything on my computer I needed to. As soon as I went up to my seat on the concourse level, like everybody in the arena, nobody's internet worked, so you couldn't do anything during the game, which really sucked. But Alex, if you don't mind, this is Michigan State at North Carolina. First half official basketball box score. Oh, it's points from turnovers. Is what I'm.
Classic.
Yeah. No. God, dude, I came into that so confident. Damn it.
Yeah, I knew.
I came into that so
win the turnover battle.
You set that up so
Colby,
well,
that just doesn't add up. You can't rebound a team and win the turnover battle and be down 9. That just doesn't
That's why I was so stunned. But yeah, I didn't see the points from at the top. It just has like down a row turnover 5-11.
Something about that department with incorrect stats. You guys just keep pulling stuff. You and Connor.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Sorry, Alex. God, I hate when you're right. I hate when you're right, Alex. I hate it.
Remember,
people
Alex
do not
was wrong
like
about
that.
Colgate. Alex was wrong about Colgate.
My bracket says I was right.